Hello everyone. Welcome to History Helios. Here, we'll dive deep into stories that turn history and mythology upside down. Before we begin, I'd like to make a few disclaimers. Every story has multiple versions. These are myths, not definitive written sources, so it's very likely you'll hear different versions elsewhere. If you're tempted to comment, that's not how it happened. Or if you missed something important, let's agree up front to keep an open mind. And if I've made a mistake so glaring it keeps you up at night, please let me know. I'm always eager to learn from you. Another point to consider is that some of these stories might resemble narratives from monotheistic religions. For viewers who may be sensitive to such similarities, it's important to mention this from the outset. Lastly, mythology often contains unsettling elements, such as familial relationships or interactions with animals, that can be downright disturbing. Please don't focus on these aspects or view them through today's lens. They were products of their time. Let me emphasize that I'm not normalizing or endorsing these elements, I'm simply sharing the stories as they were told. Today, we're diving deep into history to explore the origin stories of Rome. But don't worry, this isn't your typical history lesson, it's packed with drama, excitement, and intrigue. So, buckle up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, this is a story you won't want to miss. First, let's pay homage to Alba Longa. This crown jewel of Latium was once ruled under the just governance of King Numitor, until his power-hungry brother Aemilius shook things up with a treacherous coup. With Numitor dethroned, our story begins. To secure his claim, Aemilius forces Numitor's daughter, Rhea Silvia, to become a Vestal virgin. However, this move sets the stage for a dramatic twist. Rhea Silvia's story takes a dramatic turn right here. A divine intervention occurs, Mars, the god of war, enters the scene. From their union, Rhea Silvia gives birth to two sons, Romulus and Remus. Is Aemilius pleased with this development? Absolutely not. He orders the infants to be eliminated. However, fate has other plans. A basket floating down the Tiber River and discovered by a she-wolf, where was it? Did you know that the Latin word lupa can mean both she-wolf and a marginalized woman in society? This detail adds an intriguing layer of mystery to the story. Whether it was a wolf or a social outcast, one thing is certain, this maternal figure gave the twins a chance at a new life. The basket is found by Lupa, who nurses the twin babies. This iconic moment is immortalized in the Lupa Capitolina statue, which you can see today at the Capitoline Museum in Rome. But let's move forward with our story. After Lupa, a shepherd named Faustulus discovers the twins and decides to raise them. Over time, Romulus and Remus grow into strong and fearless young men. But the story doesn't end there. One day, they learn the truth about their noble lineage. When they discover that their uncle Aemilius has usurped the throne, they return to Alba Longa to settle the score. Aemilius is overthrown, and their grandfather Numitor is restored as king. And of course, here comes the real plot twist, founding a new city. The brothers choose Palatine Hill as the site. But there's one problem, who will lead? They decide to consult the gods and begin observing birds for divine signs. Remus spots 6 birds, but Romulus sees 12. This rivalry, however, takes a tragic turn. Remus crossing the sacred boundary, Pomerium, of the city Romulus was building, sparks a conflict. In some versions of the story, Romulus kills his brother in a fit of rage, while others suggest that Remus dies in a tragic accident. Either way, this tragedy leaves a lasting mark on the very foundations of Rome. 753 BCE, mark the date. Romulus establishes Rome and becomes its first leader. As the city's inaugural king, he lays the groundwork for what will become a future imperial legacy. But founding a city isn't enough. Romulus knows it must also be strong, well-organized, and appealing to thrive. Romulus starts off with ambitious goals. His first move is to establish a senate of 100 noblemen, creating the foundation for Rome's governance structure. Next, he declares Rome a sanctuary city. Outlaws, refugees, and even society's outcasts flock to Rome. It might sound like an unusual approach to population growth, but it works. Rome becomes a magnet for newcomers. But Romulus doesn't stop there. he builds a military system designed to transform Rome into a future superpower. Romulus's vision doesn't stop there. He promises his people unity, protection, and opportunities. These commitments become the cornerstone of Roman identity, laying the foundation for the city's future strength and influence. But here's where things get a bit complicated. They've founded a new city, but there's a major problem: Rome has almost no women. You can almost hear the murmurs among the people. The city looks great, there's order, but there's no one to start families with. To solve this issue, Romulus approaches neighboring tribes with marriage proposals. However, the Sabines and others firmly reject these offers. What can you do? For Romulus, this becomes a turning point. He decides to take a far more radical approach, an event known in history as the Rape of the Sabine Women. The Romans organize a festival, the Contuilia festival, held in honor of the harvest god, Consus. Neighboring tribes are invited to join in the celebrations, but the invitation is far from innocent. During the festival, Romulus gives a signal to his soldiers, who suddenly cause chaos and abduct the Sabine women. They are forced into marriages, with some accounts describing it as one of history's first recorded mass assaults, truly a tragic and horrifying event. King Romulus himself marries Hersilia, one of the captured women. Hersilia not only becomes his wife, but also his trusted advisor. While this controversial act was framed as a desperate measure to ensure Rome's population growth, it undeniably marked a pivotal moment in the city's expansion. This incident also left a profound mark on art history, inspiring numerous works of art. Notably, Jacques-Louis David's The Intervention of the Sabine Women captures the aftermath of this event. I highly recommend taking a closer look at this masterpiece. The abducted women, over time, begin to adapt to life with the Romans, and eventually, a sense of peace emerges. The Sabine women play a crucial role as mediators, facilitating an agreement between the Sabines and the Romans. This union strengthens Rome, creating a more cohesive and robust society, and lays the foundation for the integration of the two peoples. Romulus's strategic moves elevate Rome from being just a city to a social, political, and military model. This is why Rome's founding story is far more than a simple tale of stones being stacked. It's a blend of strategy, vision, and drama. And what about Romulus's end? Here's where the story takes on a new dimension. According to some accounts, Romulus meets a tragic fate during a popular uprising. However, in another version, the gods intervene and elevate him to the heavens, where he becomes deified under the name Quirinus. As Quirinus, he is worshipped as one of Rome's protective deities. This divine transformation gives Romulus's story an epic conclusion, solidifying his legacy as the divine founder of Rome. Surrounded by legends, Rome was more than just a city. It was the beginning of a civilization woven from the tales of gods and mortals. Romulus's story leaves behind a legacy that inspires the epic history of Rome. But wait. Rome's origins aren't just about Romulus and Remus. Let's turn our time machine even further back to the Trojan War. According to another version of Rome's founding, told in Virgil's Aeneid, the story begins amidst the flames of a burning Troy. Amidst the chaos of war, a hero emerges, Aeneas. A noble Trojan prince, Aeneas carries his father on his back and takes his son by his side as he escapes the destruction of his homeland. His mission? To fulfill the prophecy given by the gods, to find a new land and lay the foundations of a great civilization. As the tale goes, while Troy is falling, the god Apollo delivers a prophecy to Aeneas. This prophecy reveals that he will establish a second Troy with a group of Trojan survivors, a city destined to give rise to one of the world's greatest civilizations. Aeneas's journey is far more complex and perilous than your average Instagram adventure story. Along the way, he faces sea monsters, massive storms, and countless other challenges, all fueled by the divine rivalries of the gods. Juno, in particular, does everything in her power to prevent Aeneas from reaching Italy. But whether you call it destiny or the unwavering support of Venus, the goddess of love, Aeneas always has a powerful ally by his side. Aeneas's path takes him to Carthage, where he meets the captivating Queen Dido. A deep love blossoms between them, but the gods disapprove of their union. Aeneas is compelled to leave Dido behind and continue his journey, fulfilling his divine mission. This abandonment drives Dido to a tragic end, planting the seeds of the historic enmity between Carthage and Rome. We'll dive deeper into this story in another episode. Finally, Aeneas sets foot on Italian soil, where he is welcomed by King Latinus. The king offers his daughter, Lavinia, in marriage. However, Lavinia's former suitor, Turnus, refuses to accept this union, and a great war breaks out as a result. Aeneas defeats Turnus in an epic duel, securing his place as the founder of a new civilization. Together with Lavinia, their lineage includes Ascanius, who would later play a key role as the ancestor of Rome's eventual founders. Aeneas's son, Ascanius, establishes the city of Alba Longa, laying the groundwork for the future Roman Empire. Fun fact, Ascanius is also known by the name Julius, creating a legendary link to Julius Caesar, who is said to descend from this heroic figure. Through Alba Longa, we can connect these two stories. Perhaps the city mentioned in Aeneas's epic is Alba Longa, and it's through the lineage of its founders that Romulus and Remus emerge, ultimately leading to the foundation of Rome. Historically, the time gap between these events aligns perfectly to support this connection. Indeed, when it comes to the actual founding of Rome, there is no definitive archaeological evidence to confirm the details. As a result, we are left with these epics and legends as the surviving pieces of the puzzle. And so, the origins of Rome are shaped by both divine and heroic tales. Which story captivated you more, Romulus and Remus's dramatic sibling rivalry or Aeneas's epic journey? Share your thoughts in the comments, and stay tuned for more legendary stories.